Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. I am bringing you my review of The Confession by Jo Spain. Now, I received this book free from the publishers in exchange for this review. I do pride myself on the fact that I give an honest review, but sometimes I feel like I really enjoy the book and it comes across as fake, but this is a cracking book. Let's get that right there from the get-go. I gave this 5 stars and I have only given a really small handful of books this year 5 stars, so it's not an easy feat to achieve, but this book does it. So right from the get-go, this is a great book. When it arrived in the post, I remember sort of rereading the synopsis of it and just thinking, my word, this is a book that I'm so excited about reading. I mean, the basic premise is it's a crime thriller. It's one of those typical sort of whodunit style of stories, but the twist on this is that you find out who did it on the very first page, and then it says on the back, who, and on the last page you'll find out why. And I think right from the get-go I was really intrigued on the fact that they put a spin on the sort of crime thriller thing. I mean, crime thrillers in general are a genre that does really appeal to me. I don't read them very often, but I always enjoy them when I do, and seeing that sort of done but with a slight twist on it really intrigued me. Earlier in the year I'd read another book by Jo Spain, one of the Detective Tom Reynolds series, and Sleeping Beauties it was called, and I really enjoyed that. I wasn't 100% digging it because of the series link that just I wasn't feeling, but I really liked her style of writing and it made me want to read more from her. So when I saw this book was available, I was really intrigued because I'd read a book by her previously. Now, to summarise the plot for you will be really straightforward because it gets kicking off right from the very first page. Basically, there's a guy whose name I don't remember. Basically, right at the very start, a guy walks into the home which is shared by a guy called Harry McNamara, and very nice name, and his wife. The stranger walks into the house and beats him pretty much to death with a golf club, seemingly with no motive, seemingly with no reason. After that, he hands himself straight in at the police station and sort of pleads insanity almost, says that no idea why he did it, obviously insane. It's clear right from the start that there's more to it than that actually this doesn't look like a random attack. Harry McNamara is a famous banker who has recently been disgraced, so lots of people would have a grudge against him. And you're sort of very aware as a reader that there's more to this, and that is the whole point of the book. The point of the book is that as you continue to read, more and more of the motive and more of the reasons behind everything and how their lives are intertwined becomes revealed, and it's really cleverly done. Really top marks. I must admit that I found it quite difficult to begin with, particularly at the start of the book. I think it flits between different characters' perspectives, which is great, and it's a sort of writing style that I really enjoy, but at first it can be quite overwhelming when you're not really in the headspace of the characters, and when you're flitting from one to another you don't feel like you get the time to really get in the mind of that character, so I felt it was a bit disjointed at the start, but then equally I think that is reflected in how you're supposed to feel, that actually you're just starting to get to grips with these characters and their lives and their reasons why they're intertwined. So I think that at the start you don't really know much about the character, and as you do that develops and the disjointed feel goes away. It very quickly got really intriguing, and I think that is always a difficult balance to get with a crime thriller. Like, you want your audience to, you want your readers to want to know what's happened, but you don't want to reveal too much. So it was just the perfect balance of sort of getting you intrigued, just dropping enough hints that there's something darker, something more mysterious going on, but without revealing too much. And I think that was what I really enjoyed about the book. It was what kept me reading, was that I was really desperate to know what on earth was going on. Why on earth did this seemingly random attack take place? And what were the secrets? Because you felt like every single character had huge secrets that they were withholding, and it was really exciting to sort of find out about those. I think whenever you're reading a book, there's always an element that if you can see yourself reflected in it at all, or your own real life experiences, then that's something which can really bring a book to life for you. And there were elements of it that reflected my own life, and that may or may not have played a part in it. For the record, that is not because I am a murderer in my spare time. I'd like to make that very clear. But, you know, I think that when you read a book and you can relate to elements of it, or elements reflect your real life, it adds another sort of I don't know. I think that you relate to it on another level. So that was probably another reason that I particularly enjoyed it, because I felt like, you know, there are elements of this that reflect my own life, which is always intriguing and always interesting. You always want to see how things play out in a sort of similar situation to your own. And there were just constant twists and turns. Like, whenever I felt like I knew what was going on with these characters and I knew what the motives were and the point was and what on earth was wrong with them, something would twist, something would turn, something would change, and yeah, it was just absolutely mental. And to be honest, I mean, I know I've said this before, that I often don't, you know, I can't predict endings very well. I think I'm a gift to writers because I literally absorb as much information as they want to give me, and I don't tend to go beyond that. But I didn't see the way it ended coming. I think that I was able to predict exactly what Joe Spain wanted me to predict, but no more and no less. So that, you know, I think that's good. So overall, as I've already said, this is a cracking read. If you like a crime thriller, then I think you're going to really enjoy it, because it ticks all the boxes. You know, it's got that right level of mystery and intrigue, but also excitement and drama. If you're not so much into crime thrillers, then this might be interesting, because there's a huge psychological element to it. It's not just about the whodunit, it's not just about that element, because actually you know that. It's about why they did it and digging deep into psychology of people, which is, you know, a really different spin on things. So overall, I think it's a cracking crime thriller, but with a really, really interesting sort of alternative look at things. If you've read this book, then let me know. If you've read any other similar books, then I would also be intrigued. But if you haven't, then read it, because it's very good and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.